Hello guys, Krevin here, and welcome back to the fourth and final clan overview we have for the great clans of the Skaven. Today we'll be looking at Clan Eshin. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I cannot stress highly enough, go back, check them out. You'll get my general Skaven overview of the lore video, and then that's followed by the three other great clans, Clan Scryer, Pestilence, and Molder. They're very interesting if you have an interest in more detailed looks at the Skaven great clans and how their society works, then go back, check those out. And without further ado, let's jump right into Clan Eshin, what they're about, what their overview is, the different kinds of classes they have within their great clan, what their specialty is, and what they bring to the Skaven. So let's dive right in. Clan Eshin is definitely the most feared and generally respected, I might say, but feared is basically the same thing as respect in Skaven society. So the most feared great clan, or clan in general, in the Skaven under Empire. They are the Assassins. They work very closely with the Council of 13 to put down insurrections or just stop anybody that the council doesn't like. Of course, they do hire themselves out to other clans. They are known for their efficiency and their deadliness. And where did they get this, you might say? Well, it goes back to the time of the Great Migration. If you watch my Clan Pestilence video, if you haven't, go back and check that out. But at one point, 12, what they called them the Lords of Decay, that came out of the Temple of the Horned Rat. Back then, the Council of 13 was called the Grey Lords. Now they're known as the Lords of Decay. But this is back to where that all started. Again, watch my first Skaven overview video. But basically, these guys came out of the Horned Rat's Temple, and they led the Skaven off all around the world to basically create tunnels and under empires all over the world for the time of the Great Ascendancy. This is basically when the Horned Rat's going to call the Skaven up, and they will take over the overworld, the Empire, the Greenskins, the Dwarfs, the Dawi, all of those different factions, and make them their slaves, and just spread ruin and decay throughout the world. Now, Clan Eshin was led to the east, to the country around Ind and Nippon. They basically lost all contact with their with the rest of Skavendom because their lord Vistrin was killed by a dragon on the journey. That's a story for later. Was killed by a dragon on the journey. They continued on and they just didn't keep contact. All the rest of Skavendom thought they were lost until one day they reappeared and pledged their allegiance to the council at a time of civil war with the Skaven. So they were pretty clutch when they came back. What was happening was Clan Pestilence had recently returned from the west, and they were vying to get a spot on the Council of 13, and the rest of the Council of 13 at the time did not want to give them that, did not want to give them Warpstone token tithe rights, a bunch of the other stuff Clan Pestilence was asking for. So a civil war ensued. Clan Pestilence is extremely strong when it comes to different clans, and definitely the most fanatical clan of all of the great clans. But this is where Clan Eshin kind of came out of the east, allied themselves in a very loose fashion, as much as the Skaven ever allied themselves with the council, and basically turned the balance, using their assassins to go into these heavily fortified cities and just assassinate powerful rebel warlords and leaders in Clan Pestilence. Now, that's not to say that Clan Pestilence really lost the Civil War. They did lose it, technically, but they were given because they proved themselves later by spreading the Black Death amongst the Empire and other various acts that they deserved a place on the council. So they eventually did get it, and they did get the Warpstone tithe rights, as well as all the other different perks that come with a council seat. But today is not about Clan Pestilence, it's about Clan Eshin. So let's get onto them. So while Clan Eshin was away from Skaven Blight and the central hub, if you will, of the Skaven under Empire, they had spent a lot of time around Cathay, Nippon, and Ind in the Far East. Now this served as kind of a case study for the Skaven of Clan Eshin to learn the arts of stealth and assassination. The assassins of Clan Eshin are rightly feared by all Skaven. They come silently and dispense their death with uncanny accuracy, and return to their warrens with their foes none the wiser. Their methods are seemingly supernatural, and the shadows appear to cling to them like spider webs. Rarely do Clan Eshin assassins show their faces. They hide them behind cowls and masks. Clan Eshin is not merely a den of assassins though. Because of their stealth, their fighters are also prized as spies and scouts. Eshin sells its services to the warlords, offering skirmishers and light troops that can infiltrate the rear of an enemy's line to scout enemy formations or to dispatch their leaders, wizards, and other valuable assets on the battlefield. Eshin also maintains a powerful cadre of informants, which they draw a great deal of useful information from. Eshin is shrouded in mystery much more than the other great clans. Little is known about the clan's inner workings, and this information is well hidden from prying eyes and ears. Skavens who learn too much about the assassins have been known to wind up dead or worse, which ensures that the clan will sustain its secrecy in the centuries to come. Seemingly their most prized commodity amongst the Clan Eshin population are the secrets that they sell to the rest of Skavendom. It would seem that Clan Eshin strives to increase its own wealth and power in the Under Empire by lending its services to anyone willing to pay their exorbitant prices. They have yet to use the secrets they have learned for their own power bids or to provide false information to their clients for their own benefit, which is a very un-Skaven-like thing to do, since it's basically treachery and me first in the Skaven society, and that's actually almost admired and looked up to as much as they admire and look up to anything. It's just a cultural norm for them. But this clan has simply worked its way into the good graces of the Lords of Decay and continues to serve the Council unquestioningly. Whether this obedience will continue is a question, though, for future generations to answer. But for the time being, Clan Eshin is virtually untouchable with all the favors they've stacked up from various clans. Foremost amongst the favors which Clan Eshin has accrued is probably their services and pledges to the Council. As we talked about in the Civil War with Clan Pestilence, the Eshin were very key to the Council's continued survival, where Clan Pestilence probably would have just wiped them all out if they'd won the Civil War. But over the centuries since their return, Eshin has repeatedly achieved a special place with the Council of 13, using their talents to cow and corral the lesser clans and maintain the authority and influence of the great ones. In effect, they act as the secret police force to the Lords of Decay, the metaphoric poison dagger in the hand of the Council. Their political reach has grown long, for they hold the power to call any Skaven forward as a heretic or a traitor. Evidence of such crimes is easily manufactured, and in many cases it need not be fabricated at all. It is for precisely this reason that the other clans avoid angering Clan Eshin and indeed facilitate its investigations without objection. Clan Eshin, however, also uses more direct methods to quiet opposition to the Council's authority, I should say. Political murder is common amongst the Skaven, and Eshin excels at such secretive activities as no other clan can. Countless deaths have been engineered by Clan Eshin's assassins in the name of the Lords of Decay and the Council of 13, and entire clans have been destroyed by their brothers after having been struck leaderless by a well-placed blade or a poisoned dart. Though Clan Eshin offers its services to other customers who have little or no affiliation with the Council, it has never been proven that the clan has participated in any treasonous activity. Let's move on to Clan Eshin classes and units. So they have the Skaven slaves, as every clan does, that kind of run the menial and dangerous chores of the clan and are basically used as fodder for whatever the clan feels like doing in any kind of a war. They're kind of your front line, meat shield. And then they have the regular clan rats, which are particularly sneaky for Clan Eshin, just being a ninja great clan, if you will. But they have a number of notable units, and one of those is the Night Runner. So one thing to note about Clan Eshin rats is that they are generally larger than your typical clan rat. They are darkly furred. That's an indication of, in Skaven society, as someone who's a born killer, and they generally grow to be larger than your average gray or piebald, I mean not gray, but, well, gray too, gray, piebald, or brown rat. I should say gray, if you've watched the overview, is basically an indication of whether you have sorceress ability and you can become a great seer. So they're the most common warriors, Night Runners are, of Clan Eshin. They're trained to move at a speed, striking quickly to prepare a way for a large Skaven army, say. Common objectives for Night Runners are to seize key terrain, harass and slow down enemy troops, picking off war machine crews with slings, and luring foes into ambushes. Casualties are notoriously high. amongst Night Runners, and only those who survive many engagements can advance to the rank of the infamous Gutter Runner. One of the most dangerous missions given to a Night Runner is to follow a Warp Grinder team beneath the enemy and attack them from the flank or the rear. Although this is almost always a suicide mission, it does provide a good distraction. Night Runners will also be used to draw out enemy reserves, so the elite Gutter Runners can strike at an exposed target. The champion of a unit of Night Runners is called the Night Leader. He's given many secret tasks for him and his unit to perform. These missions are the final tests before advancing to the next level of training. Only the most skilled are able to advance, and a single mistake can be enough to jeopardize both the Night Leader's career and the lives of the entire unit. The Gutter Runners are basically the Night Runners, except on steroids. They're essentially the elite version of the Night Runners. They're the experienced members of Clan Eshin, and although they've already been trained in the deadly skills, they must master them whilst working in their small packs to become full assassins, which is the ultimate goal of all these units, and pretty much anybody in Clan Eshin. They're skilled at infiltrating and scouting ahead of the main Skaven lines, as well as ambushing and destroying enemy machinery or small groups of fleeing soldiers. They are also useful for cutting down enemy wizards and leaders. They have been known to use the Skaven Under Empire to make surprise attacks on forward enemy positions or the rear of an advancing enemy force. They are not sent on suicide missions like the Night Runners, though. They are valued highly by Clan Eshin as the future generation of assassins, which is, of course, the clan's trademark. Now we come to the assassins, and they are literally the best of Clan Eshin. They can infiltrate virtually any fortress, eliminating any enemy, and they are, of course, regularly used, as we said, by the Council of 13, and they make a ton of warp stones off of that. Warp tokens, I should say, is their currency. They are also capable of committing sabotages like burning ships or houses, poisoning wells, or food supplies. They operate almost always alone. They are capable of concealing themselves inside a regular Skaven infantry unit to better slay an enemy champion amidst the confusion of battle. That'd be great if Total War Warhammer would use that when they come out with the Skaven faction. Just being able to put an assassin into a regular unit, and then when you send your general or something into them to break them up, just whoops, fine, there's an assassin in there and your general's dead. That'd be hilarious. So the very best assassin is Death Master Snitch, and he is the right paw of Night Lord Sneak, who is the current Night Lord of Clan Eshin. His precise whereabouts are always kept a secret. This ensures that no enemy of the Council of 13 feels himself completely secure at any point. There is also talk of Clan Eshin sorcerers, and I could not find too much about them when I was doing my lore research. I do know that whereas the Grey Seers, they are not sanctioned, first of all, by the Council officially. There's only two classes officially sanctioned to use magic by the Council. That is either the Grey Seers or the Warlock Engineers of Clan Scryer. So these guys are not officially sanctioned to do magic, but they seem to do it more in the way the Dawi do it, and the Dawi don't do magic. So it's weird. They basically make weapons of power using magic, either like eternally cursing a weapon that an assassin would use with poison, so that even if it's used for 1,000 years by different assassins, every time it hits something or cuts somebody, they're going to be poisoned. It's that kind of a thing. They basically do weapons and armor upgrades. So I don't know too much about them. Maybe if you know a little bit more, you could comment down below. I'd love to learn more about these guys. I just cannot find too much information online with the sources I'm using. Like Clan Scryer, Clan Eshin has their main base in their precinct in Skavenblight. It is called the Caverns of Unyielding Shadow, and that is where they do all their shady business deals and contracts for assassinations and treaties even. There's also one more thing that we have not mentioned, and then we'll be wrapping up the video, and that is that Clan Eshin plays a very crucial role in the Conspiracy of Silence. What is that? It's basically a conspiracy that the Skaven are keeping running so that the Empire, by and large, does not recognize them as an actual threat. So if anyone gets information or any kind of eyewitness report or something like that, or any material that would prove the existence of the Skaven, Clan Eshin is tasked with going and destroying the material and assassinating the individual, so there is no evidence for the Empire to latch onto. So the Empire and even some other factions in Warhammer do not believe that the Skaven even exist as a faction, although they are probably the largest, considering that their civilization spreads throughout the entire Warhammer world, at least by the end times. That is gonna about do it for this Great Clan lore overview for Clan Eshin here and the entire series on the Great Clans. I think I am going to be coming out with another video which is just going to cover the Great Warlord clans, as I'd like to call them. They aren't considered Great Clans by the textbook lore, but they do have significant lore. This is going to be Clan Moors and Clan Rictus most notably, and maybe Clan Flem will possibly be in there as well. So look forward to that video. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting this series, and I will see you guys in the next video.